Hey there, everyone. We're back with another run today. Today I have a giant sword run. I feel like this weapon is pretty hated. Every time I see people talking about it, I see them saying it's one of the worst weapons in the game, and I think they're crazy. If I'm being perfectly honest, this weapon is amazing, and I don't know if it's people just keep a misconception in their mind of it, and they're like, oh, well, it doesn't do insane damage to non-elite, non-bosses, so it must be terrible. But it has a lot of stuff that is so amazing, even outside of the incredible elite and stick kill potential and the high boss damage. And we're going to show that off in this run. I am feeling a lot better. So, hopefully I'll be able to finish my my super special, secret, super amazing special project that I have had going on, and that should be coming, soonish. I'm script writing already, but yeah, other than that, there's not much to say. Actually, there's one more thing. Sometimes when I show off these weapons I say are kind of underrated, one of the things I'll do is I'll use something super broken with it, right? I'll use Face Flask or to Slay the Spire cards or Ice Shards. Nothing like that here. Giant Killer just does amazing, and you're gonna hopefully, see the light. If you already aren't like a Giant Killer believer like I am. But yeah, let's hop into the run. All right, so jumping into prisoner quarters, I have a pretty solid starting build. I got the Giant Killer. I have a solid item in Root Grenade and Rampart, which is a pretty good shield. It's I think a lot of people instantly see the utility of Rampart and are like, it's amazing, it's perfect, right? But it's fine. It doesn't do a lot of damage, which is its big weakness. But yeah, it's pretty good. I do end up seeing a Giant Killer. I take that. I think I re-roll it though. But yeah, it's prisoner quarters. Not much to talk about other than I can sort of start talking about what some of the strengths of Giant Killer that I think go a little underrated, and that is its stun. Obviously, the big thing about it is that it shreds elites and is really strong versus bosses as well. But actually two underrated aspects of it. One is it has a pretty good stun on single target enemies. Its breach is pretty solid, so usually you can handle enemies really well. And it does, it doesn't do amazing damage like you see right there. It's struggling to kill a rat, but I also don't have, a lot of scrolls. But, we can mitigate that with stuff like skills and whatnot. But, yeah, I go into Toxic Sewers with Frostbite. This is going to help with Buzz Cutters. It has that overhanging swing, so Buzz Cutters aren't too bad against it. But, it's just going to help wear down the medium-ish HP enemies. And, make kills a lot more consistent. But the other underrated aspect that I think a lot of people don't have, this is just me playing terrible, but then playing decent. A mixture of awful and, not bad. But the other underrated is it has, a pretty good attack animation. It has that overhand swing, attacks decently fast, especially for a survival item. It can get victims slow, which I'm comboing with Frostbite, which is really nice. And it also, it cleaves through enemies really well, so it has decent grouped damage. This room is atrocious. I'm like, oh, there are just so many of these little larvas chasing me. I need to kill these guys. But yeah, even right there, you saw me, chip down their HP, and then that gave me time to get my Crusher and Root Grenade. A lot of times with an item, one thing that can really make it shine a little better is if you just bring the right supporting gear for it. People, I feel, don't use their skills very often in Dead Cells. I mean, I don't want to generalize on things, right? But sometimes if you feel like you're struggling, try to think, am I using my grenade frequently? Am I using my, my turrets often? I did find a curse, and I kind of play it safe here. I'm like, I do not want to mess with a Rampager that's slowed on parry timings. I kind of cheese the enemies here, pull them over here for a second, just so I can safely kite them back down. And works pretty well. Overhand swing, pretty good versus Buzz Cutters and Bats, like I said. Demons, we'll see later on, does good versus them. But yeah, going into Corrupted Prison, I am doing pretty good. I picked up the cat, did fine. I'm starting to like, I was really up on the cat, and now I'm starting to like, kind of, you know, medium out on the bell curve of it. But yeah, I take Gastronomy. Gastronomy is so good. It is. I mean, Sorrel has a lot of fantastic mutations right now, but Gastronomy is up there for some of the best. I play this curse really bad, by the way. I should have absolutely died to some of these Inquisitors. But, yeah, Gastronomy is just like, what I like to do with it is I like to clear out the map, grab Healing if I need to with it, but ideally, and we'll see I grab Necromancy later on, ideally, though, I like to grab both of, you know, as many Gastronomy boosts, sometimes 1, sometimes 3, right? And grab as many of them as I can. And take them right at the start of the biome. Because you have, I think it's 5 minutes, basically, with it. And that, you know, that makes up for the lack of scrolls you've gotten throughout the biome. And makes the biomes way easier. I believe there is a legendary over there. That's just kind of the footage I'm showing off right here. But yeah. So far we're already starting to see like that group cleave popping power pretty good. The cat does help, you know, clear out kind of those bulky-ish enemies that Giant Killer struggles with a little bit. Yeah, legendary tentacle, pretty funny. I think, what does it get? Bleed? No, poisons the enemy is its legendary fix. Decent, not very, you know, interesting, but you know, it's good, right? But yeah, we're already starting to see that, you know, my scroll count pretty decent. I've taken the 2 Gastronomies into Ramparts, and it's, ooh, oh no, I didn't get tagged there. I thought I did. But yeah, it's helping that, you know, kind of middling biome damage a bit, and we're gonna see later on that, like, it really starts to ramp up well. But I decided to take Necromancy. Super big sustain. That with Frostbite, just gonna be really good. And I have Greed Shield and Rampart, so, you know, I can use Rampart if I'm cursed or in a tough fight situation, and then Greed Shield to just stack that money up. Let me go to shops to heal up if I need to. That way, you know, I can use the Gastronomy for damage. But now that, you know, we're starting to get a bit deeper into the run, you see that one of the other benefits of Giant Killer is that its damage is starting to scale decently. That's a rough hit right there. Where before, early on, you're seeing it's taking me, you know, 4, maybe 5 hits to kill the Rampagers, but there it's taking me 3, and with Gastronomy, that's going to be even better later on, where it scales really well into mid-game. Kanji kind of trolling me a bit here. Unfortunately, I think the Crusher reset the parry start, so I was like, you know, cool, thanks. Kanji and trolling, right? Name a more iconic duo. So yeah, I'm trying to, you know, set up a parry so I can hit him hard, but they're just not letting me. So I finally start to get a little impatient, and I'm like, please, just fight me. I just need you to line up in a way that's not terrible for me. Obviously, the tentacles are going to be a little scary, but I have a shield, especially Rampart, pretty good versus them, and I have Crusher and the cat, you know, worst case scenario. So, you know, as long as I get these parries, I am set. Obviously, no need to parry that one there, pretty safe. And first tentacle phase, ooh, almost got tagged, but I used the cat. That's so excessive. Why did I do that? Nice parry on that one. So yeah, second phase of Kanji, super easy. They I thought I had him over to the change there, but a little short, just a little shy. And second phase of the tentacles. This is the scary part of the fight. So, you know, just gotta play it safe and nail those parries, right? I'll get the pretty free no hit, but I whiff it. Unfortunate, right? Happens. Tilts you a little, but it's fine. So, you know, I kind of just brute force the rest of the fight. I'm like, I'm over it. I'm annoyed that I didn't get my no hit, but whatever, right? Other than that, pretty easy cleanup versus Kanji. Get the nice parry there, and pretty good kill as soon as I stop goofing around. There we go. So yeah, Kanji not bad. You know, I get tagged, I think twice, but basically at the same time. Go into Slumber, and I wanted to try and get a little bit better gear, especially since I had the Greed Shield. That's like, you know, let me take advantage of those double weapon / skill shop and go into this room. This room is probably a little chaotic for my build, but Crusher does what Crusher does. And I find the curse, and this is gonna be one of the scariest parts of the run. This curse is always, not always, but it can be a pretty scary one. I swapped to Rampart just because, that invincibility could come very in handy. And we are going to, and I see an Inquisitor Elite right away, but I got a Giant Killer. Die, right? As long as they didn't start with anything super, super terrible, like, I don't know, probably the, spinning laser would have been the worst thing, but even then I had Rampart to parry it, right? On reaction, assuming it didn't spawn in, like, a super terrible spot. So, yeah, that was, like, the scariest part. These guys are rough for Giant Killer. Definitely would have liked to have had, an Ice Bow or something going into this biome just to help with my range a little. Same with demons, helps out with them. No, Giant Killer, like I said, is pretty decent versus demons. They don't have a ton of HP, and that overhand swing is very nice. Another elite, obviously, I don't need to fight it, because I can just use the cat on that. Casters, that's right. And then, oh my god, Frostbite going crazy. Frostbite's so strong. Scroll count, not the greatest, but not terrible, right? It's fine. Swap back to Greed Shield in the middle of the fight with the Dancer. I was pretty happy about that one. that just looked kind of funny. And this is like, you would think this is one of the worst maps to bring Giant Killer into because of golems. They're a super bulky regular enemy, and that's in theory what Giant Killer struggles the most against. But actually, it did pretty fine versus them for the most part. We see an elite one, so obviously, that's fine on my part, right? But goes down and making it through the map pretty good. My health with Necromancy being just so good right now is going pretty good. And the one thing definitely I think could have improved was probably my items. The cat and Crusher are good, don't get me wrong, but here we see Golem, not even a threat, right? Goes down with ease, and that's where like that mid-game power starts to scale. We'll see on Giant Killer, where like now I'm just one-shot or two-shot demons, right? And like it really just starts to scale super well into the mid-game and late game. And that's kind of a negative too. You can definitely say, because in my opinion, early game tends to be a little bit harder for Dead Cells, but you can see I got my gastronomy boost, and through Clock Tower, I'm literally just walking through each enemy and having that big overhand swing to clear out full groups if I need to, right? And if it's a single target, they go down as well. Obviously, other knights you can't take out in one usually because they have the shield. But yeah, going through Clock Tower, and it is a cakewalk. I believe I even get like the rare 60 kill on Clock Tower, which I kind of jokingly will sometimes say, no one ever gets a 60 on Clock Tower, because if you get hit once, it's over. But a bit overkill. Screw that guy in particular. But yeah, the power is starting to definitely show, even on normal enemies, right? Like, these are moderately bulky enemies, which is kind of that range where Giant Killer kind of gets criticized for. Probably should have got hit there by one of the assassins, but goes all right. And look at my sustain as well, right? Like, worst case scenario, I have to use gastronomy or a health pot, but who cares? I have so much bulk. I'd already decided in this run, by the way, I wanted to go Dracula. Obviously, from the thumbnail, you can see that. But as like, Ice Bow could be a lot better than a shield versus final phase of Dracula, mainly because I still, at this point, this is kind of an older-ish run, so I'm a little more familiar with Dracula, but still, I'm not like 100% on that, especially the final phase. Second phase I've gotten a lot, or first phase I've gotten a lot better on. Goes kind of so-so in this run, we'll see later on, but first phase I'm pretty confident on now, and second phase counter. We'll see, I swapped to Taunt for my replacement on the Crusher, and Giant Killer for the cat. Or not Giant Killer, what? Giant Whistle. And I end up really liking this, but I have an atrocious Timekeeper fight. I just was not getting my time-ins on any of the anything, really. Usually, I mean, that's kind of Timekeeper, right? It either goes super smoothly or just nightmarish, right? So finally, near the end, I stopped goofing around and finished her off. But yeah, Timekeeper not too bad, right? And going into Dracula's castle, I decided to swap to the ice bow. I figure the long hallways will really, make it really strong, especially with some of these skeletons. These skeletons are annoying, and demons. It's pretty nice, and those guys, right? Like just long hallways in general. That's what you want ice bow for, right? Other than that, I have giant whistle to nuke any disaster room if I see the need, like that guy, right? Sometimes you just need to get rid of him. And I figured taunt would be a good final skill to take towards Dracula, because it's like, hey, make my giant killer do more damage, especially because I don't have the greatest scroll count here, right? So I'm kind of run more of a bulky survival, and that'll help me hit those damage caps a lot easier. Whatever they may be. All those bats just got obliterated. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident. I still have a bunch of money. I do know at some point I took a scary hit from something. It might have been honestly, it might have been a mimic that I had to fight. I know I don't have it in the footage here, but I took a scary hit. But thankfully Dracula's castle has a food shop and that greed shield early on. I got 20,000. That's all I need. I assume I've probably upgraded my giant killer at some point, but it's a pretty high one I had earlier on. I think it was a level 8-ish. So, that's more than enough to win a run. But yeah, I do have very high duel stats, and a lot of people will feel like that's a death sentence sometimes, but it just, it makes enemies a little slower to kill, but you can take a hit or two, right? So there are positives and negatives to it, right? Obviously, you'd rather not get hit in general, but when you do make the mistake, or when the enemies do get the hit off, especially on all forms, I'd say brutality the least it matters, but because having that extra hit on tactics can make a pretty big difference, and have all the bulk from survival goes well. But yeah, heading to Dracula, obviously the only fight you can take. I decided to go with soldier resistance because it's smart. And then, level 10 giant killer, plus 40% and plus 20 on crits. Yeah, that thing's gonna damage cap like crazy. Probably didn't even need taunt anymore. But yeah, I went with Master of Arms just because I'll be critting on every swing, right? And then punishment for first phase goes pretty decent. And giant killer to hit him hard. So early on, going really smooth. I might have been able to swing there. He does tag me there, and then I think he gets me with not that grab, but he hits me with one. I don't know if you can parry these ones. You might be able to, and if so, I probably should have, but I think at the time I thought those were the ones you can't parry, but it's actually the little arch thing. That said, going pretty smooth. That attack usually gets me. Yeah, it's those ones. I think those are the ones that you can only parry if you have Armadillo Pack, where I don't think you can parry them normally. But I think these ones you can parry normally. If I am wrong, please let me know. This is where he gets me, and on brutality or tactics, that's like a death sentence getting hit by that. But survival, all that bulk does nothing basically, right? And overall, I think I got tagged, 3 or 4 times, maybe 5. But yeah, it didn't go too bad, and I have emergency triage because I have all the bulk I need, so might as well, secure those potion drinks. Swap over to Ice Bow, and I'm like, no, I will not take Vampirism. Although, honestly, 20% of your max HP, maybe it wouldn't have been too bad to take. It just depends. Probably better with a fast, speedy weapon like a Hayabusa Gauntlets or something, right? But yeah, going into Dracula Final Form, like I said, I still don't have a ton of experience with Dracula Final Form. I'm definitely, again, a lot better at it. But, early on, kind of jogging for position and getting my swings in, right? And doing decent damage. He's hitting me a little hard. I'm not playing this the best, but like each hit of that giant killer chunks him down more than enough, right? To where as long as I play my high HP number, I should be totally fine. I definitely still have not gotten that elusive no hit on final form, but you know, I'll get it at some point, right? That's definitely a bring tactics type of situation. Bring force shield, right? Force shield is the greatest item, and that's how you get your no hits. But going pretty good. Like I said, he's about half HP, and all things considered, I'm at about 2/3 ish HP between my potion and whatnot. He threw me off there with the thing on the side. I was ready for that, and then I didn't quite notice that he swapped sides back towards me. But going pretty good. I think the ice bow was mainly to get bleed on him. But yeah, not too bad. Pretty easy Dracula, all things considered. Survival does super good in that fight, and it's pretty good. Had a lot of fun with this run. Like I said, feeling a bit better, all things considered, and am wanting to hopefully get that project out sometime within the week. So there might not be another Dead Cells run, but there will be Dead Cells content soon. So I hope you all look forward to that. And have a good day. Let me know how you feel about Giant Killer. This weapon is amazing, right? I'm not crazy. Am I crazy? It did great here, right? The overhand swing is so good. But everyone thinks it's terrible. That said, I really like it. I think it's a great weapon. And let me know how you feel about it, because I love Giant Sword, and it is the best. Bye-bye, everyone.